The bell above the diner door jingled softly, a small sound swallowed by the early morning wind. Rain slicked the streets outside, water reflecting neon signs like tiny, trembling stars. The smell of coffee and warm bread clung to the air. Steam rose from a chipped enamel mug on the counter, and there he was, a boy soaked to the bone, ragged shoes tied loosely, backpack barely clinging to his shoulders. He looked as if the world had already hardened him beyond his years. Yet in his eyes a strange, quiet hope. His name was Max. Max always arrived at the diner around 7:15 a.m., just before the crowd. The servers had learned not to ask questions. They didn't need to. The boy came with the same routine, sliding into the same corner booth, wiping his shoes carefully on the mat, and sitting with his head down. It was ordinary. Until it wasn't. Today, however, something was different. The diner's door swung open, and a sleek black car pulled up outside. A man stepped out, tall, impeccably dressed, gold watch gleaming even in the rain. He had the air of someone used to attention, someone whose commands shaped the world. A millionaire, unmistakably. Everyone froze. Even Max, who had learned to ignore stares, looked up. The man's gaze swept across the diner, landing finally on the boy. There was a flicker of curiosity, maybe even recognition, in his eyes. And then he smiled. Not the polite smile of someone greeting a stranger, but the smile of someone seeing truth, of someone recognizing potential where the world only saw scraps. At that moment, it hit me. Max's life was about to change whether he realized it or not. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small acts to change a life, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Kiindines Stories. Because what you're about to see isn't just a story. It's a lesson in humanity. Max wasn't always hungry. There was a time, long ago, when his mother would pack him sandwiches and kiss his forehead in the morning. There were mornings filled with laughter and nights filled with warmth. But life has a way of turning small tragedies into lifelong shadows. His mother had fallen sick when he was just 7. Hospitals, pills, the endless waiting rooms where children were told to sit quietly while grown-ups whispered about bills and insurance. Max learned early how fragile life was. When she passed, Max had nowhere to go. His father had disappeared years earlier, a ghost whose name he barely remembered. Relatives, gone. Friends, none left. The diner became his sanctuary. The owner, Mrs. Sullivan, never asked questions. She served him a plate of eggs toast, or whatever the kitchen had left over, always with a small nod and a wink that said, "I see you. You're not alone." Well, for Max, that small kindness was everything. Life outside the diner, though, wasn't kind. Other kids mocked him. Adults ignored him. And some, the cruel ones, thought it funny to toss scraps or leave doors slammed in his face. Max learned quickly the world will try to break you if you let it. But that morning, as the millionaire stepped inside, the tension thickened. The man, whose name turned out to be Mr. Harrison, didn't sit at the counter. He didn't order coffee. He walked straight toward Max. Some of the regulars muttered, "Who does he think he is?" Others were silent. Max shrank instinctively, remembering every time he'd been seen, then dismissed. "Hello," Mr. Harrison said, kneeling slightly to meet his eyes. "You must be Max." Max nodded, unsure if he should speak. "You come here every day?" the man asked gently. Max shrugged. He didn't trust strangers, especially those in suits. "Do you like it here?" Mr. Harrison continued. "Yes, ma'am," Max said quietly, though he caught the man's puzzled glance. "No, it's fine." "Sir," he corrected, embarrassed. Mr. Harrison chuckled softly. "Good. Then we understand each other." Then, something remarkable happened. The diner was full now. People ate their breakfasts, glanced nervously at the millionaire, then went back to their meals. Max felt the weight of their stares, pity, curiosity, doubt, pressing down on him. He shifted in his chair. "I don't have much," Max whispered. I don't have a home." Mr. Harrison's face softened, but it wasn't pity. It was understanding. Recognition. "You're braver than most adults I know," he said quietly. "Braver than anyone sitting here this morning. Max's lips trembled. No one had ever said that to him. Not his teachers, not his neighbors, not even Mrs. Sullivan. He blinked rapidly, holding back tears. He had been so used to being invisible, so used to surviving without anyone noticing. And here was someone wealthy, powerful, who seemed to see him. Not the scraps he ate, not the shabbiness of his coat. Him. Mac's days turned into weeks. Mr. Harrison didn't just visit once, he returned every morning. But he didn't give Max money or gifts. Instead, he asked him questions, simple ones. What's your favorite subject? Do you like drawing? Have you ever been on a bus ride just to watch the city? And slowly, Max began to open up. He drew pictures on napkins. He told stories. He even laughed, a small hesitant sound at first, then louder, stronger, more confident. Mrs. Sullivan noticed the change immediately. She smiled as she set a plate of pancakes in front of him. Looks like someone's found a friend, she whispered. Max nodded. He felt something he hadn't felt in years, hope. One morning, Mr. Harrison came with a stack of books and a notebook. I think it's time you learn things most kids only read about in school, he said. And I'll be your teacher, if you want. Max's eyes widened. Me, really? Yes, really, Mr. Harrison said with a smile. That day they read together, they wrote stories. They talked about the city, about dreams, about possibilities Max had never imagined for himself. And as he listened, as he learned, as he laughed, Max realized that kindness could be life-changing, that someone believing in him could open doors that had been locked forever. Weeks later, Max's life had changed, but not in the way he had expected. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was living, learning, laughing. He had someone to guide him, someone who believed in him. And slowly, Max began to believe in himself. He learned that wealth isn't measured in money. It's measured in compassion, in seeing someone who others ignore and choosing to lift them up. And every morning, when he entered the diner, he didn't just see a place to eat. He saw a sanctuary, a home, a beginning. If this story moved you, if you believe in the power of small acts of kindness, in second chances, and in seeing the humanity in everyone, please like, share, and subscribe to Kidines Stories. Share your own experiences in the comments. Tell us about a time when someone's belief in you changed everything. Because sometimes all it takes is one person to see you for who you truly are. And that can change a life forever.